Hey guys, it's Wednesday. I looked over the assignments that most of you turned in yesterday and it didn't go so well. So I'm going to have you do this again today because it's kind of an important concept. All right, so remember, step one. Step one, you get this part, this square root of x by itself, so we have to undo that adding and subtracting. So we're going to subtract, and then we're left with the square root, and that equals -3. Now, I'm going to tell you a trick. When you have a square root that equals a negative number, it is going to be a no solution because you can't take the square root of a number and get a negative. So if you see that, you can actually stop right here, and the answer you type in is no solution. Now, if you missed that though, if you didn't notice that that was a negative and you just went on to what we did the other day, we square, and the reason we're squaring both sides is you're trying to get x by itself. The square root squared cancels that and we get x equals, and -3 times -3, well that's 9, but that's not the answer. The answer is no solution because this is not a good answer, because if you plug it back into the original problem, this is not a true statement. The square root of 9 is 3, and 3 plus 5, that's 8. So since 8 does not equal 2, that's why it's a no solution. So on your homework, the Google form, if you end up right here and you see that the square root equals a negative, you can just type in no solution. But the important part of testing extraneous solutions is to actually test them. And if it doesn't work, well then it's no solution. The next one I'm going to have you do on the form is one that has a negative here and a negative there. Well, you can't call this one a no solution because the square root of x is not by itself yet. So you divide by -1. That undoes that negative out there. Divide by -1. So you have the square root of x equals 5. Now, this is why a lot of you missed your assignments yesterday. You stopped right here and you told me that x equals 5. Well, x doesn't equal 5 because you're telling, that would be that the square root of 5 is 5, and that's not true. Remember, to get the square root off, you square both sides. So the answer is x equals 25. Now, I don't want you typing in on the answer form x equals 25. Just put 25. If you write x equals 25, it will count it wrong. Okay? So the thing that happened yesterday, that you had a basic one on here. Many of you, almost all of you, just said that x equals 10. Well, that doesn't say x equals 10. It says the square root of x equals 10. So you have to square both sides. So that means x equals 100. Because you see, if you tested that, just like I did, I forgot to go back and test this one, the square root of 25 is 5. So that is a true statement because 5 does equal 5. So the answer is just 25. If I tested this one, the square root of 100 equals 10. That's true because the square root of 100 is 10. 10 equals 10. So that is the answer you would type in. Okay, the final one that's a little tougher is this one right here. You're going to have one like this. You have to get the square root part by itself. So step one, undo the adding and subtraction. You're going to have one of these to do on the form I'm going to put in Google Classroom today. That equals 8. We have to divide by a negative because you don't have the square root part by itself. Divide by -1. Right here you have the square root of x equals -8. Well, right there you can call it no solution. You don't have to keep going because you can't have a square root equals a negative. If you get confused though and you accidentally solve it and you square that, well then you'd have x equals 64. Well, if I go over here and I test that, if I try to test that with the original problem, that's negative square root of 64 minus 5 equals 3. Well, the square root of 64 is 8, and that does not equal 3. This is a negative value right here. That's -13. So again, that is no solution. So don't type in 64. Don't type in what you got over here. The answer you'll write is just no solution. Okay, so I want you to try again today. I hope it goes better. If you have questions, let me know. Have a good day, guys. Happy Wednesday. Bye.